What's up, guys? This is Young Ninja on the Young Ninja Show, coming at you live with another podcast. Today, as promised, King Crouton is on the podcast.
Hello, King Crouton here at Composition Studio.
And yes, today, we've been doing a lot of different podcasts lately, and they weren't what we were doing in the past. But today, we're doing for the first time since October, a food fighting food podcast.
Yeah, food fighting food, my favorite.
And today, it's the Christmas food fighting food podcast because we don't know if we'll have another guest out till after Christmas or not. So we're getting it out of the way today.
Merry Christmas.
Today, for the Christmas special, I am representing the one and only Christmas sugar cookies with candy canes in the middle. And King Crouton is...
King Crouton representing gingerbread monsters.
Now, I know it's not Halloween, but these monsters, because it's not Halloween, they've been made into gingerbread cookies. And gonna say, this is a different take on this segment because in the past, like when Jesse was doing it with us, we were doing healthy food versus unhealthy. This time, it's unhealthy food versus unhealthy food. Kind of different.
Christmas season, lots of unhealthy food kicking around, so we're going unhealthy.
So, I guess we'll start the match off with King Crouton's argument.
I, as King Crouton, know, and I'm sure listeners and fans of the Young Ninja podcast will agree, that gingerbread cookies are a delightful and delicious wintertime treat. You have the snap of the ginger, a little bit of heat that the ginger brings. You got that warmness that it fills your whole body and your whole taste buds with. And you have the frosting, the white frosting, sometimes on the border, sometimes forming faces and sometimes forming hands and feet. But in this case, we are not talking just about gingerbread people, Young Ninja. We are talking about gingerbread monsters. So not only are these things delicious, but they are also scary. Believe me, gingerbread monsters can do some damage. They are going to take down your cookies, no problemo.
I gotta say, sugar can beat ginger in any match that you have. You put a gingerbread monster versus a sugar Christmas tree, and by all means, the tree has the Christmas spirit. The monster's stuck in Halloween. I mean, he is stuck in Halloween. He doesn't have Santa Claus. There's literal sugar cookies that were shaped like Santa Claus. And Santa Claus is on my side here. And so are the trees and reindeer.
You might have Santa Claus on your side, but there is a little-known Scandinavian monster that celebrates Christmas too. Perhaps you've heard of him. His name is Krampus. And I recommend you look up Krampus if you have never heard of Krampus. Krampus is kind of like the evil spirit of Christmas. Krampus is the one who hands out punishment to the naughty girls and boys. Santa's the good cop. Krampus is the bad cop. Believe me, a gingerbread Krampus cookie is going to do some damage. So watch out if you've been naughty this year for sure.
Yes, but on your side, because I have to say this, the Grinch is technically a monster.
Absolutely. We got the Grinch as well, so watch out, everybody. Some people wouldn't touch him with a 39.5-foot pole, but if he is baked into a delicious, sweet, and a little bit spicy gingerbread cookie, you're going to want the Grinch on your side.
I disagree. The Grinch hates Christmas, and gingerbread does not mix with the Grinch, yet it's still made into a gingerbread cookie. I mean, he literally lives on a mountain above Whoville and steals Christmas presents every single Christmas Eve.
You know what? This is not just about an argument about Christmas. This is an argument about who is going to beat the other one in a battle. Is that correct? That's kind of the premise of food fighting
correct.
Food. So you have your sugar cookies. Fine. Boring. Spicy, delicious, sugary ginger cookies baked into monster form. Can you imagine them just coming down from the mountain into Whoville and wreaking havoc?
I have to say something. You could add candy to sugar cookies. Like you could add a nice Hershey's Kiss as a nice belt buckle for Santa Claus.
That's true.
You could have the colored frosting, and just let alone strawberry frosting gives a little bit of a healthy element to my sugar cookies, which will, by all means, is as healthy as you can make a sugar cookie. You add fruit to it, and oh my gosh, it is too powerful. It will overrun the gingerbread, and it will send the gingerbread cookie monsters or cookies right back where they belong in Halloween.
I think that is a very interesting argument, but if we are going to the health argument here, I think it is clear 100% ginger. Ginger has it all over sugar or strawberry frosting in any form. So tell you what, take a little trip down, maybe a health food store or the lane of your local grocery store. You're going to find ginger tea. You're going to find ginger pills to settle people's stomachs. You're going to find in Ayurvedic cooking, ginger is used as a warming substance that keeps the circulation going, especially in the wintertime. You know, your hands and your feet and your ears and your noses are cold. If you get some ginger in your bloodstream, in your body, that's going to warm you up. And there is no question that ginger is one of the healthiest things. So the fact that you have ginger baked into a cookie in a monster form, sayonara. Sayonara, sugar cookies. See you later. You are out of here. The ginger is taken over.
I gotta say something. Unfortunately for the ginger cookies and the ginger monsters, they're lacking something that sugar cookies have.
What is that?
And that is the fact that, yes, you can make a gingerbread cookie into a monster, just like you can make a sugar cookie into a Santa or something. But sugar cookies, all the kids, even Santa himself, that's their favorite kind of cookie. You see all the old folks eating ginger, yeah. All these old folks and middle-aged folks, they'll eat ginger hands down.
Because they know what's good for them.
But they're not as popular as the sugar
this
cookies.
This is not a popularity contest, Young Ninja. Young Ninja, if this were a popularity contest, probably Snickers bars would win or something like that. But we're talking about an all-out fight. We're talking about sugar cookies versus gingerbread cookie monsters. And there is just no case that you can make to convince me that sugar cookies have anything on gingerbread cookies. By the way, have you ever made a gingerbread house?
I've seen them, and my mom has made a few for her preschool.
So think about that. Not only do these gingerbread cookie monsters have their own spicy, sweet gingerbread warming taste, but they also have a house that they can go back to. Your sugar cookies are out there in the open. They have no protection whatsoever. A gingerbread house is a pretty solid structure. If they get in any trouble, if they need to revamp, take a nap, maybe they're tired from this battle that they've been in, they can go back to their gingerbread home and rest up. What are the sugar cookies going to do?
Sugar cookies can go live at the North Pole with Santa, and honestly, they have a much better chance of surviving this world in a ginormous warm oven, warming oven that Santa has in his workshop. I mean, and not to mention, you can make gingerbread houses, yes, but can you make a maple syrup sugar or ginger cookie? I think not. You can make maple syrup, and you can take the sugar out of sugar cookies and replace it with natural sugar made from maple syrup, from boiling maple syrup down to its pure sugar contents. Yeah. And then you have a much better tasting, even more powerful maple sugar cookie that will just dominate that gingerbread house. And it'll be so powerful that it can knock the gingerbread house down. You can't knock a warming oven down, but you can knock down a gingerbread house easily with a maple syrup sugar cookie.
Young Ninja, you make a really good point here. The fact that you have now substituted maple syrup for sugar in the sugar cookie gives your cookie a lot better shot. And I really like where this is going. However, I will make 2 points. One is that there is absolutely no reason that you could not take that same delicious Maine, Vermont, or New Hampshire, or even Canada maple syrup and put that in your gingerbread cookie as well. So then the power of maple syrup in both cookies will neutralize each other. That is my first point. My second point is you are making some wild claims about Santa preferring the sugar cookies. And I am wondering, do you have a direct line to Santa? Have you called him up and asked this? And if so, I need the proof, because I am not convinced that Santa loves sugar cookies above all other cookies. And I think he would love to eat a Krampus ginger monster cookie.
Well, it just so happens we have Santa on the phone right now. So I'm going to let King Crouton interview Santa. So King Crouton, I want you to ask him any question you want, and Santa will answer him. So, Santa, I hope you answer these questions truthfully. And King Crouton, you can tell us how you can go about doing this, and then we'll interview him.
That sounds great. I would love to talk to Santa. I have a lot of questions for that guy.
Okay, so Santa, you're on.
Hello, Santa Claus. This is your longtime fan and sometime questioner, King Crouton.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Ho, 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 ho!
Well, your laugh is as advertised. I am really happy to hear that laugh. That fills anybody with a little bit of Christmas joy on a cold morning.
Yes, it does. And so I hear you have a few questions for me, King Crouton.
Santa, I do. So as you know, my colleague, YoungNinja, has been he's been making these wild claims about you and your cookie preference, and I wanted to know directly from the source, from you, if these claims are true. So YoungNinja is making the case that your favorite cookies, Santa, out of all the cookies in the world, and you're the kind of guy that gets to travel all over the world, sample cookies from every culture, every country in the whole world, so many different baking methods. He's saying that your absolute favorite cookies are, out of all the cookies in the world, boring old sugar cookies. And I just cannot imagine that that is true.
Ho, ho, ho! Well, I have to say, that's a hard question for me. Ho, ho, ho. I am very neutral on this topic. I like cookies of all my favorite children. Ho, ho, ho.
Santa, that's kind of what I expected. I thought that you wouldn't really have a favorite because there's so many amazing cookies in the world, and you get to sample all of them. You're not going to just pick one. That was what I was thinking. Here was the case I was making. I personally really love ginger. That's one of my favorite flavors in the world, and so I love gingerbread. I love gingerbread cookies. I love actual gingerbread. And I think it's really fun to bake, instead of gingerbread people cookies, gingerbread monster cookies. How would you feel if you got left a plate of gingerbread monster cookies?
Ho, ho, ho! Well, Mr. King Crouton, I would love to try your gingerbread monster cookies. Ho, ho, ho! As long as you give me a glass of chocolate milk to go with it. That's my favorite kind of milk. Ooh. I do have a favorite milk. It's chocolate.
Interesting. I think the listeners of the Young Ninja Show are going to be happy to hear that you like chocolate milk, and that's your favorite. I think you're going to get a lot more chocolate milk this year than a boring old regular milk. So that's really good to know. Well, I will definitely be leaving you a plate of gingerbread monster cookies with some white frosting on them. There might be a Grinch, there might be a Krampus, there might be all different kinds of monsters, maybe a Yeti, all different things that maybe you've seen in your travels. But I think people are going to be really happy to know that you love all cookies equally and that you love chocolate milk.
Yes, well, I do have to say that most of you kids are on the nice list this year, and I will say those sugar cookies, they are very filling, but I can make room for all kinds of cookies.
Oh, good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Listeners to Young Ninja's show, you've just heard directly from the source, that is Mr. Santa Claus, address North Pole. He loves all cookies, and he will make room for anything you got.
Merry Christmas